The topic I chose to research for this week's project was why the founder doesn't always make it to be the CEO. I found this project very interesting because I thought initially as the founder you would be the best option for CEO, but it turns out that you actually aren't, and you can end up hurting the company overall at the end of the day. The first main two resources I used were the Stanford Talks. This was an original part of my research plan. The first video I saw was about culture and how crucial it is in the workplace, and especially in a startup. The main point of the video was that culture is very hard to establish later on in the company, and that it should be established very early on, and that the most open culture possible is the best culture overall. This particular speaker was from HubSpot, Dharmesh Shah. He said that the biggest killer to a startup, in his opinion, is cultural debt and decisions made behind closed doors. The next video I watched was about the Founder's Dilemma by Noam Wasserman from the Harvard Business School. And he just talked about how all the different statistics of founders making the wrong decisions because they are focused on the idea and not the better of the company. Here are some of the learning outcomes that I got out of this topic. The first major one that I saw and learned was that founders can hurt the company in the long run more than help it. This is because they make decisions based on the better of the idea and what works best for them and not the company. Investors like to see outside CEO experience because this shows that the company is looking for future growth, and CEOs that have outside experience are also more goal-oriented. Some founders also don't possess the management skills needed. And like Shaw said from HubSpot, is that they also don't establish culture early enough, which is a management skill. As I said before, some founders base decisions incorrectly. They also make decisions off the bat, like who to work with. 50% of startups fail, or more likely to fail, if they choose to work with someone that they know socially instead of in the business world. And one real-life experience I found was that Steve Jobs' experience with Apple when he was fired, started Next Tech Computers, and then was rehired. And the second time around, he was a much better CEO. So for my activity and real-life application, I posed a question because it's kind of hard to practice the skills that I learned during this project without actually doing a startup. So I said, would you be able to hand over control of a company after founding a company like Apple? If you were in Steve Jobs' shoes, I don't know how I would handle being fired from a company that I started, took public, and then screwed it all up. But I did like how Steve Jobs approached it and went back the second time and learned all of his lessons. And as he says, it's the best thing that ever happened to him and Apple.